What is that place?
Where the counselors were meant to watch the consecration of the Icon. The start of the great journey.
There is still time to stop the key from turning.
I must get inside.
Then mount up, Arbiter. I know a way to break those doors.
Hello guys, it's Prisma, welcoming you back to the finale of Let's Play Halo 2. So on Legendary, one thing they do to make it more difficult, Halfjaw refuses to get out of his Wraith tank. He will not get out of his Wraith tank, so you're forced to take the Spectre. Your ally starts off driving it, but he cannot drive. He probably has the worst driving AI in the series. You're basically begging for death. Anyway, being stuck in the stupid Spectre it makes this section a lot more difficult. Especially because you only have the one Spec Ops elite. You don't get any reinforcements or anything. Now, you do have Halfjaw helping you in the Wraith. He is marginally helpful. He has terrible aim, but, you know, it is a Wraith tank, and he is completely invincible, so that's a good thing. In this first part, you have a bunch of brutes in Ghosts. Not too bad. Something I haven't really discussed. In Halo 2, I'm sure those of you who played a lot of the multiplayer are familiar with this. In Halo 2, the Ghosts have a fuel tank on the side. On the left side, the left side of the Ghost has a fuel tank. And if you can hit the fuel tank with some kind of projectile, it will blow up the Ghost instantly. Now, Legendary, the brutes have enough health, usually, to tank the Ghost exploding. It's one of the few times in Halo 2 where you can see a vehicle get destroyed while the occupant survives. It's kind of like a workaround of the usual rules, I suppose. But it is a strategy to make this part easier because brutes on the ground are less dangerous than brutes and Ghosts, although they can do this. This is kind of funny because since Halfjaw is invincible and since he's programmed to not be able to leave his Wraith, that brute will be stuck there forever, but the downside is that you lose your Wraith tank, basically. So you want to get any attempted brute borders off of Halfjaw as quickly as possible. Eventually... Oh yeah, by the way, try not to stay in front of Halfjaw. You want to stay like near him or like behind him because he is not shy about blowing you up, too. You know, to be fair, that is pretty consistent with his character. He has very little patience for other people. Eventually, an enemy Wraith tank will show up. The best way to deal with it is to kind of let Halfjaw blow it up. The Spectre, it just takes forever. Well, not forever, but it does take a while. Now, I get kind of, yeah. So like I said, you only get this one Spec Ops elite, so if he dies, like this, now you have no turret operator. So now I'm kind of SOL. My only hope is to hijack a Ghost or hijack a Wraith. But first I gotta deal with this brute who's hunting me. Why? Luckily he was stupid enough to leave his Ghost. And there, down he goes. So, this, if you have the Spectre, it's safer to just stay in the Spectre. But if you're forced to use a Ghost, you might as well just say fuck it and try to hijack the Wraith. I was playing a little fast and loose here. I figured it's the beginning of the mission. If this doesn't go well, I can just restart, but it went well. So I got the Wraith. Although, usually, when I play this mission, I play it in the Spectre. Little traffic jam there. Thank you, Halfjaw. I'll say the strategy doesn't change too much. You just have to play a lot more conservatively in the Spectre. In the Wraith, Ghosts are basically a non-issue. It's because Wraiths are so tanky. And you can even take a plasma grenade in the Wraith. Well, I mean, you saw that in Uprising. Eventually a Phantom comes up over the ledge. If you're in the Spectre, you would want to take time to...
That's Garrett's main gun. We'll break the control room.
That's right. But if you're in the Spectre, you would want to take the... This is like the one area where the Spectre is better.
The bar is in the beast. There's a passage into the cave. Take you up to the Garrett.
You would want to shoot the turrets off because Halfjaw will get distracted by that Phantom and his Wraith tank, and if you're in the Spectre, you would really need Halfjaw's help because guarding the pathway to the Spectre are 2 Wraiths and a pack of 3 or 4 Brutes, all holding Brute shots. You really want to deal with that in just a Spectre. Although, you definitely can, so shoot the Shade turrets off the Phantom. That way Halfjaw can, he'll focus and help you.
Control that cruiser officer. I'll remain here. Make sure no reinforcements get behind you. Then, I'm going to take the cruiser back.
Always some excuse not to have the invincible NPC actually come with you. You do need to destroy the Wraith tanks, but after Halfjaw says that thing about staying behind, the door's actually open. I'm just clearing out the Brutes because it's safer. But sadly, you do need to step out of your vehicle here. And I'm not... What I like to do here, I like to... So this... If you're not doing like a carryover, because your weapons at the end of Uprising carry over, you start with... If you don't do that, you start with a plasma rifle, an elite plasma rifle, and a plasma pistol, which are probably the worst possible weapons to fight Brutes with. So, I grab a Brute shot from the Dead Brute squad, and there's a crate of carbines in here.
I thought he was dead. Hold your
Something
fire.
else.
Hunters have come to our aid, Arbiter. They will fight by our side.
Hooray. Boy, I can't wait to see how these hunters will help. Yeah, Halo 2 physics moment there. But this part is just difficult. Oh, and by the way, just for reference, every time I die, which I die a lot in this next room because it's very difficult, I have to go all the way back there to when I'm scrounging around for Brute shot. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this next room is very difficult.
Our aid, Arbiter. They will fight by our side.
The strat is you want to get in front of the hunters so they don't crush you, but also, like, there's a bunch of Brutes standing on a ledge. As soon as they spot the hunters, they'll fire in, but they have Brute shots, so those will hit you as well. You want to take out the Shade turret with a plasma, and then just spam the Brute shot to take out the rest on the ledge. Once you kill enough of them, a second wave will come out of the door on the top of the ledge. You can kind of see it over there. Yeah, more dudes with Brute shots. When you're going up against guys with Brute shots, you want to stay away from the walls, because the bulk of the Brute shots damage will come from the splash damage, and on Legendary that will kill you very fast. But the hunters, once you kind of weaken the Brute front lines, they tear through the rest of the Brutes pretty easily. Now this fight, you don't want to fight it out on that ledge or just die. You want to come like over to the right, that way you'll force the Brutes to fight a battle on 2 fronts, and between you and the hunters, you'll slowly pick through them all. But be careful, because there's a second wave coming, and with that second wave, there's going to be 2 Jackal snipers. So you'll want to watch the entrance that I'm looking at over there. That one, yeah, that cave entrance, because there could be some Jackal snipers and some more Brutes. Remember, the Brute shot does increase melee damage, so it's a very good melee weapon. It's also great against Jackals. But yeah, you want to listen out for the Jackal sniper. Sometimes he'll hide up there, and you can ricochet brute shot bullets off the ceiling to hit him and blow him up. But I think my hunter scared him. Like, my hunter somehow got really close and then spooked the jackal sniper. And he dropped his beam rifle and picked up the plasma pistol. So all my allies are dead. It's hard to keep them alive, but it doesn't really matter because something's up with their AI. There's a bridge coming up similar to like Assault on the Control Room, those kind of bridges. And it's very hard to get them to cross the bridge. It's very time consuming, so I would have had to abandon them anyway. Anyway, there's a squad of jackals, but also a jackal sniper, but not just any jackal sniper, the final jackal sniper of the game. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Final jackal sniper taken out. We are done with jackal snipers for the rest of the game. And the rest of the series, because they never get that bad again. They return in Halo 3, but they are heavily nerfed. And they're nerfed even further in Reach and Halo 4, actually. Anyway, once you take out the pack of jackals, a group of drones will come in through that door. But luckily there's a crate of beam rifles on the bridge, so you can just grab it. And obviously beam rifle is the hard counter to drones. You want to be careful crossing this bridge, because if you cross a certain threshold, a phantom will come on the left side, and it will start shooting at you. And you really don't want to get caught between a phantom and a bunch of drones, so you want to take out as many drones as you can. Although, you know, the drones are smart, they'll lie in ambush like that. So when you're pretty sure you got them all, I would recommend grabbing your brute shot, whatever ammo you have left in your brute shot. Because you never know how many drones might have survived. Yeah, there's the phantom. But you know, if you time the triggers right, it's not a huge deal. Although I almost died there, just because I missed more drones than I thought I did. Now this next room is quite difficult. Not really a super good strategy for it. Probably should have taken the brute shot, but this does give me more ammo for my needlers. So I guess like it depends on which weapon you like better. Spoilers: we're going to be fighting a lot of brutes and jackals in this next room. More interestingly, though, there are these like holding cells with elite counselors in them. Yeah, the elite counselors. They actually, if you free them, they'll help fight the brutes with you. There's one up top, one on the bottom on this left side, and then on the right side there is a pin containing 2 hunters. Not that one, yeah. Right. So you will have 2 elite counselors and 2 hunters helping you out. You might be thinking like, well, how helpful could a senator be? But I'll just say that the counselors, they have equivalent stats to elite ultras. So it's basically, you have 2 elite ultras and 2 hunters helping you out, so they can do quite a number on the enemy brutes. Of course, as always, once you thin out enough of the initial brutes in the room, reinforcements will come in through the door. It's a little hard to get into the room because they all have brute shots, so like whenever you're in the doorway, they just like splash damage you to death. Yeah, like that. It's very difficult to keep the hunters alive. Usually, I'm able to keep at least one of the counselors alive, but I wasn't able to on this run, sadly. Yeah, kind of a difficult room, but there's one guy left over.
A day's rations as I do this in one cut.
So it's a little hard to see, but there's some Marine prisoners there. They actually had concealed plasma pistols. They whip out the plasma pistols, and in addition to any allies you kept alive from that previous room, you'll have 2 Marines helping you out take out these brutes. That's right, elites and humans fighting together. Also grab a beam rifle from that crate before the cutscene starts. But real fast, I just wanted to show you the elite counselor fighting, because they only appear in this one level in the series, and they're pretty cool looking, so...
Go, go, go!
Figured I'd at least let Mr. Counselor show off what he can do. There he goes. He beat a brute in guerrilla combat. Pretty cool. 2 brutes even. They are pretty strong.
Listen, you don't like me and I sure as hell don't like you.
But if we don't do something, Mr. Mohawk's gonna activate this ring. And we're all gonna die.
Tartarus has locked himself inside the control room.
Well, I just happen to have a... Come on, grab a Banshee and give me some cover.
He's gonna know we're coming.
Alright, so you can grab a beam rifle if you didn't before the cutscene, but like Johnson said, grab a Banshee, give him some cover.
Take my Banshee over there.
Alright, so this part is honestly quite difficult. First of all, there's going to be 3 Wraith tanks to deal with.
How do you like it?
Johnson will help a little bit, but he doesn't have the best aim in the world, and the Scarab has a long charge-up time, so you're going to have to deal with the 3 Wraiths yourself, but luckily, in a Banshee, that's not really a big deal. You do have to take out those 3 Wraiths, or Johnson won't move, and you need him to... It might be a little hard to tell, but we're actually backtracking through where we've been. Like, this is where we drove the Spectre and the Wraith crew with Halfjaw in there. So we're backtracking to the control room we saw in the intro. Anyway, the reason you grab a beam rifle, you can get out here and easily snipe the 2 Shade turrets, but more importantly, there are 2 Spectres driving around, and even in a Banshee, their turrets will tear through your health. However, taking out the Spectres prematurely will cause Banshees to spawn earlier than you might like to, so it's a little tricky, but the way you do this, you snipe the brutes off of the turrets, but you leave the Spectres down there to drive around harmlessly. There's an additional 2 Shade turrets over here. It's pretty easy to get the jump on them though, so they're not a big deal. And now we wait for the Banshee Horde. So, in the original Xbox version, the Banshees will usually focus on the Scarab. I know this sounds like cope, but I swear it's true. On the original Xbox version, the Banshees will focus on the Scarab, and it's pretty easy to take them out, but for whatever reason, in the MCC version, they lock on to you. They hate Arbiter, I guess. For whatever reason. If I had to guess, it's because of the tick rate, it's called, that makes enemies more aware and aggressive of the player. They just lock onto the player immediately from across the map. So, sadly, playing like this makes the epic music go away, but there really is no other safe way to engage the Banshees on Legendary when they're beelining for you. I will say, Master Chief Collection makes all the Halo games slightly harder, but this is one of 2 levels where it's definitely super noticeable. This level's a lot more fun on the original Xbox version, I'll say. Because the Banshees behave more like the... Oh, by the way, there's another Brute in a Shade turret over there, but he's not really... He's such a non-factor that I kind of just ignore him after a point. I don't even kill him, and I'm just like, whatever. I decided to focus on the Banshee instead. But yeah, in the Xbox version, they behave more like the Heretic Banshees back in the 4th level, the Arbiter, where they focus on the ally NPC. Anyway, another weird thing. So Johnson parks the Scarab in front of this door. Eventually, he's going to blow it open. I'm not really sure what the trigger is, if it's time-based or if it's like enemy-based. 2 Wraiths spawn at the Scarab's feet. So I guess what I would recommend is just take out enemy vehicles until Johnson decides he's going to actually do the thing that we brought him over here to do. The Wraiths aren't a problem. The problem is that there's 2 Banshees patrolling around, and these 2 Banshees are... well, I mean, even before I was kind of isolating the Banshees to take them on one-on-one, fighting 2 Banshees at the same time on Legendary when they're focused entirely on you is a tall order. So I die a good bit in this part. This one, yeah, because it came around. I thought I was home free. Sadly, I was not. But yeah, you gotta play super conservatively. It's funny because the other section, it's in Halo Reach, a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. That is also a flying-based vehicle section. That got made a lot harder on the MCC.
Stay clear of the door.
Yeah.
Hey, bastard. Knock, knock.
So eventually Johnson will just wake up. I'm not sure what causes it, but... One thing to watch out for, though, is there will be Banshee reinforcements from around that corner. And you can stay and fight them, that would be safe, but a Phantom is going to come by and start dropping... Not only will it start shooting at you, it'll start dropping off Wraiths. Yeah, that. This beach gets very hairy very quickly. So, and the Banshees are going to keep spawning because they're kind of an anti-soft lock measure because they'll land like that. The Brutes will come out so that you can grab the Banshees in case, like, for whatever reason you lost your Banshee. But when you see an opportunity, you want to just make a break for it. Do your best to dodge the plasma fire and just fly in. Very difficult. One way to make that part a lot easier, except that last mad dash for the door, that's always going to be hard. What you can do, after you destroy the initial 3 Wraith tanks, you can just park the Banshee inside, like at the top of the Scarab,
Let the Arbiter into the chamber.
and just hide inside.
Complete his holy work.
Alright, so just like that fight in the Mausoleum with the 5 elites is kind of like, you know, a final boss battle with the elite faction, this is kind of like the final battle with the squad of elites. So, and it's quite difficult. It is very difficult. As you can see, you know, there's 5 Brutes to start out with. When you kill all but one of them, a second wave of 4 Brutes is going to spawn. So 9 Brutes total. Some of them have shotguns, they have Brute shots. This part is just very difficult. There is a really easy strategy for this room I'll show off at the end of the video, but I feel like, you know, like hiding in the Scarab with Johnson.
Not let the Arbiter into the chamber. Chieftain must complete his holy work.
It's a little against the spirit. This part's difficult because the only cover is down here, but there's openings on the front and back of it, so the brutes can pretty easily box you in. So I kind of cower down here for too long. You really don't want to stay down here for too long because the brutes can definitely like pincer you in, which would be very bad. What you want to do is you just want to get like a lay of the land, know where all the brutes are. Don't stay down there too long. Pop up, take out a brute or two, and then pop back in when they notice where you are. This initial wave isn't so bad, honestly.
Let it come to us.
Even though there are brutes with shotguns, which are my arch nemesis. Anyway, there's only one brute left, so... Or now there's... Yeah, now there's only one brute left, excuse me. You can hear it in the music. Almost killed myself with my own grenade, but luckily I backed off enough. Sadly, this last wave is quite difficult. It's 4 brutes, and 2 of them are the brute honor guards that are immune to headshots. Alright, and they come armed with brute shots, which kill you very quickly on Legendary. But alright, time to stop fucking around. Usually you get a checkpoint in between waves. What you would want to do, you would want to use the beam, like what I tried to do but kind of fucked up. Like, just like I fucked up that stick. Oh no, wait, no, I got the stick. I was thinking of another recording attempt. But yeah, you would want to try and beam rifle the first, like as many guys in the first wave as possible, focusing on the guys with shotguns and brute shots. I thought that guy was alive. Clearly, he wasn't. So I do die a lot in this part, but as you'll see, if you're somebody who sticks around for the end of the video, it doesn't really matter. Almost died there, but luckily I moved just fast enough. And Berserking Brutes don't have the best AI, so they kind of just let easy kills go. That lets me get him stuck on the door. Alright. Now, you would want to take a brute shot and the well, mainly the brute shot, but yeah, brute shot and carbine into the next room. Which is right through here. But, you know, that was pretty sad. That was a pretty sad performance. So I just wanted to show you, like, how you would actually do that room. You know, if you were focused up and not an imbecile. Yeah, you snipe guys at the entrance. When they notice you, hide down here. But don't spend too long down here, just long enough to kind of know where everybody is. I'm really not... Yeah. That was me being in shock at the, like, how that one brute died. I've never seen that happen before. And this is where it occurred to me that this encounter is just kind of poorly programmed to begin with, so maybe I shouldn't feel too bad about dying a lot, because it, you know, clearly wasn't play tested the best. But this is just footage on Legendary showing you how to do both ways of this encounter without dying if you wanted, like... Yeah, that's the take where I missed the plasma grenade, ironically. But yeah, this is just like how to do both waves without dying. Sadly, it's not a good showcase of how to stick plasma grenades at all. Oh my god. maybe I shouldn't have left this in, but oh well. It's important to show that even a big screw up can beat these games on Legendary pretty easily with only a single-digit number of deaths on most of the levels. So, yeah, I missed so many plasma grenades in this take, but so I would have killed this guy anyway. Because I mean, I had 3 plasma grenades. One of them was going to stick, but you know, Halo 2 physics moment works against the enemies for once. I don't know why. Well, I know why I grabbed the dual plasma rifles, but remember, in the main playthrough, you grab a brood shot. You'll see why after this cutscene, where I will see you then.
Come, human. It is easy. Take the icon in your hands. And do as you are told.
Please use caution. This reclaimer is delicate.
One more word, Oracle, and I'll rip your eye from its socket. Which is nothing compared to what I'll do to you.
Tartarus, stop.
Impossible.
Put down the icon.
Put it down and disobey the Hierarchs?
There are things about Halo even the Hierarchs do not understand.
Take care, Arbiter. What you say is heresy.
Is it? Oracle, what is Halo's purpose?
Collectively, the 7...
Not another word.
Please. Don't shake the light bulb. If you want to keep your brain inside your head, I'd tell those boys to chill. Go ahead. Do your thing.
The sacred rings, what are they?
Weapons of last resort, built by the Forerunners to eliminate potential flood hosts, thereby rendering the parasite harmless.
And those who made the rings? What happened to the Forerunners?
After exhausting every other strategic option, my creators activated the rings. They and all additional sentient life in 3 radii of the Galactic Center died, as planned. Would you like to see the relevant data?
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us.
No, Arbiter. The great journey has begun. And the brutes, not the elite, shall be the Prophet's escort.
Alright, so immediately you have 4 brutes to deal with. One of them has a shotgun, so you don't want to get too close. Just take out the one with the shotgun and the brute shot, and then your elite buddies and Johnson with the beam rifle can mop up the rest of them. But yeah, time for the game's 3rd boss fight against Tartarus. This one is by far the easiest one. It is very long, though, so buckle in. Alright, so once the fight begins and you've cleared out that initial wave of brutes, you want to let Guilty Spark talk.
Shut them down.
Protocol does not allow you to integrate
Then how do I stop it?
Well, it will take some time to go over the proper procedures.
Which dollar?
I would suggest that we play a simple this.
That's it? Johnson, I'm on it.
Hang tight, ma'am. Not until that brute is dead.
Alright, so this boss fight, as you may have surmised, Johnson needs to hit him 3 times with the beam rifle, and then you can unload on him with the weapon of your choice. I will say, Tartarus has slightly different damage, like what does and does not deal good damage to him than regular brutes, so plasma is more effective on him than normal brutes, so therefore the best weapon option is dual brute plasma rifles.
Secondary generators charging. All systems are performing well within operational parameters.
You're telling me you can't stop the sequence.
Reclaimer, please understand. Interrupting the wave generation process will severely damage this installation.
Give me a direct answer.
I am but a monitor. The Reclaimer can do what it likes.
But yeah, one of the reasons this fight is annoying is because you have to rely on Johnson and his terrible Halo 2 AI to strip Tartarus' shields. He has shields provided by his gravity hammer called the Fist of Rukt. That's maybe a bit outside the scope of this video. Anyway, then you unload on him. That's one thing that makes this difficult. The other thing is that after you deal a certain amount of damage to him, brute reinforcements come through that door that I'm looking at right now, that door. There are only 3 waves total.
Power generation phase complete. The installation is ready to fire. Starting final countdown.
Come on, Arbiter. Kick that guy's ass.
May I say, Ignatius, it has been a pleasure to serve you both.
So you would want to hang on to your carbine to deal with the brute reinforcements. Sometimes the brute reinforcements will have shotguns, so you want to be careful with that. Oh, and they berserk too, as if. One thing that's not a problem in this fight is ammo. There's ammo everywhere. The brutes drop shotguns. You do have elites. There are infinitely respawning elites in this part. They come from where Johnson is periodically, but as you've seen, after that initial wave of brutes, they are less than helpful. They just get killed by Tartarus. They can be a little helpful for fighting the waves of brute reinforcements. So this is the third wave. When this third wave comes in, Tartarus is pretty close to being dead. We got him on the ropes. And this is where brutes being able to chuck their plasma grenades from any distance starts to get really annoying. I digress. Just this level in general, honestly. This is a good showcase of Halo 2 Legendary. I mean, look how fast he's firing that carbine. He does not fire that fast on normal difficulty. Jesus. I guess the strategy, you would want to sit close to this like entrance area near where Johnson is. That way he has the best chance of hitting Tartarus 3 times. Now, your immediate first thought might be, well, what if I brought my own beam rifle into this fight? Would that work against Tartarus' shields? And the answer is actually yes. The answer is actually yes. If you bring your own beam rifle into this fight, you can strip Tartarus' shields on your own. But for reasons that I will show off in some bonus footage, that's not exactly the best idea. Says the guy with the everything-proof shield. But eventually, you'll bring Tartarus down. Yeah, he's not really hard, just time-consuming. The hardest part is if you die, you have to start the whole fight over, so watch out for that.
What's that?
A beacon,
What's it doing?
communicating at superluminal speeds with the frequency of
Communicating with what?
the other installations.
Show me.
Fail-safe protocol. In the event of unexpected shutdown, the entire system will move to standby status. All remaining platforms are now ready for remote activation.
Remote activation? From here?
Don't be ridiculous.
Listen, Tinkerbell, don't make me...
Then where? Where would someone go to activate the other rings?
Why the Ark? Of course.
And where, Oracle, is that?
Got a new contact. Unknown classification. It isn't one of ours. Take it out.
This is Spartan 117.
Can anyone hear me? Over.
Isolate that signal. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Boy, quite the cliffhanger, huh? Well, luckily it's not 2004 anymore, so we have the benefit of hindsight. Well, by the way, once again I had to edit these credits in because 343 forgot them, even though honestly they're pretty iconic, but I digress. At the very least, even if you're somebody who doesn't like bonus footage, I would recommend sticking around to the end, because 343 actually remembered to put in the after credits scene this time. You know, they left out the one with Guilty Spark surviving at the end of Halo 1, but probably because it was part of the credit video that they cut, but like this time it's never mind, let's not get too much into that. So yeah, Halo 2. Not counting the multiplayer, just speaking single player, it is probably the weakest of the original trilogy. There's just a lot of things that they try to do that don't really work. Everything that I've said before. The enemies have too much HP, they do too much damage. A lot of enemies are really annoying to fight, like drones, jackal snipers, the Flood in Halo 2. Like, half the enemies are like, oh god, these guys, I hate fighting these guys, which is not really a great feeling when you're playing a first-person shooter. Although, I guess Doom 2 is like an entire game of that, to be fair. Sorry, I should actually provide commentary and not just hum along with the music. I will say, I do think this is the most ambitious Halo game in terms of storytelling. It's definitely my favorite. Even if there's clearly a lot of gaps that need to be filled, but that's what supplementary materials for, and that's what 343 kind of forgot. You know, you don't need to know exactly how the Gravemind broke out and took over Delta Halo and Penitent Tangent. That could be like an interesting short story, but you don't need to go like super in depth with it. You don't need to know that the Gravemind is the remnants of the precursors which infected the dog food of humans who are not Forerunners, apparently. You know, it's a bunch of nonsense. A fun fact about the voice acting. I don't know if you remember this, but way back in the first level, there was a prophet who was like, yeah, there it is, Bob O'Donnell, Prophet of Objection, the guy who goes, "Nay, it was heresy." That's actually Marty O'Donnell's dad. They got him into the recording booth to record that one line. They talk about it in the creator's commentary. It's very, very funny. But alright. I will say, as I've gotten older, I kind of like fighting the brutes more. Like, now that I actually know how to deal with them. Like, when you're a kid, it's like, you just dump entire magazines into their skin, and you're like, why isn't this working? So they're not fun to fight. But once you know that, honestly, in Halo 2 at least, the weapons that you can effectively use against brutes, they're actually vulnerable to a lot more weapons than elites are. Like, try using, I don't know, just for example, like, try using like a brute shot on elites and see how well that goes. It doesn't really go super well, you just get killed. Needler, well, if you're you could dual wield a Needler and do pretty well against elites, but still, you know what I mean. But yeah, story, characters, definitely the best of the trilogy, that's for sure. Unfortunately, Halo 3, while it is a big step up gameplay-wise, it is a bit of a step down in terms of story. I don't dislike it as much as a lot of people seem to. This is kind of my schizo conspiracy theory, but just between you and me, I feel like there is a concentrated effort on 343's part to kind of, you know, hammer that Halo 3's story is bad, so it makes their stories look better in comparison. You know? That might be a bit too schizo for this audience, though, so maybe I'll keep quiet on that one. Yeah, this was definitely a game where they really tried to make this amazing conclusion. They wanted this to be the last game. Incidentally, that's why Great Journey, this level, feels maybe a bit underwhelming, a bit anticlimactic. This was originally supposed to be the penultimate level, not the final level, but, you know, crunch time hit. They bit off more than they could chew, and they learned their lesson. And as a result, Unfortunately, Halo 3, it does feel a little bit more like designed by committee, paint by numbers than this one. It takes a lot of risks and does its own thing. In between Halo 2 and Halo 3 is when Bungie kind of lost the scrappy underdog quality maybe a little bit, but I can't deny that gameplay-wise, 3 is my favorite of the trilogy, even though it is probably the easiest. I definitely won't be dying as much as in this game, that's for sure. It might be like Halo 1, where there's some levels I don't even die at all, but we'll see how that goes. But, while Bungie's giving special thanks, I do want to thank everybody who watches these videos. I really do appreciate it. This is mainly a hobby for me to just show off Halo to a group of people that maybe haven't experienced Halo in this specific way, on Legendary difficulty. Me just showing off the surprising amount of depth this FPS campaign, dude bro console shooter game can really have. I think I've done a good job. But, next up, like I said, there's an after credits scene.
Silence fills the empty grave now that I have gone. But my mind is not at rest, for questions linger on. I will ask, and you will answer.
All right. Shoot.
Honestly, as far as after credits scenes goes, that one's pretty good, gotta say. They really, one thing they did right, Halo 2, they really got across how terrifying the Flood can actually be. This might be a controversial stance, but I always felt in Halo 1, even despite how much the Flood were hyped up, the Covenant always felt like the more threatening faction. Obviously, by the way, 10 deaths, but one of them was Halo 2 physics moment where my own hunters crushed me to death. So let's be fair to myself, 9 deaths, Still probably more than I'd like, but, I can't be a perfectionist about these too much. I gotta get these videos out sometime this century. And the par score is about 8,000, so I got about 3 times over. This isn't genuinely, what I'm trying to do with these videos, partially besides just showing off cool things to my friends, I do kind of want to show people, even if you're not that good at these games, beating these campaigns on Legendary is absolutely very possible. So as you can see, there's still 10 minutes left. I actually have a lot of bonus footage for you this time, and a lot of it is very interesting. This is just me, I don't usually show off the MCC menus because I don't really like them. I know that sounds strange to complain about a menu, and maybe I'm giving in a little bit to the toxic Halo fan base who is never happy with anything, but there is another reason. It's because I wanted to show... Next project is going to be Halo 3 ODST. We're actually skipping over Halo 3, going straight into ODST. It takes place in between 2 and 3, story-wise, and I feel like it leads better into 3. But alright. Let's finish off this project first before talking about the next project. So, this is where the last terminal of the game is located. It's in this prison area. Pretty easy to find, honestly.
The only one I would trust with this information is probably dead right now. He was commander of the fleet that brought me to this system. Thel 'Vadamee was his name. But after hearing you tell of the destruction of the ring, I cannot believe that he still lives. His orders were to secure the ring, to prepare it for the arrival of the Hierarchs. 'Vadamee never fails in his duties. If the ring is no more, then Vadami must be dead.
Duty can indeed be a dangerous virtue. But even if he did live, wouldn't this sense of duty make him quite unlikely to set aside his allegiance to the Prophets?
Perhaps not. And he would never betray our people. No, if we were able to just speak to him, explain everything you have told me. But no, these are futile hopes. If he did live, and if he was returned to the High Prophets, they would most certainly punish him for the destruction of the ring. In fact, he would be the exact kind of leader the Hierarchs would make Arbiter. They would need someone to blame for the loss of the ring. His influence within the fleet grew with every one of his victories over the humans.
And if he did become Arbiter?
Then he would be lost to our cause. Without the knowledge you've shared with me, he would obey the Prophets without question. I doubt he would even respond to his former name. I don't know what it would take to overcome, but as you say, we don't have time to ask such questions, and Vadami is almost certainly dead.
If all your hopes rest on him, then I fear for the future of this galaxy.
As do I, Oracle. As do I. But I will begin our fight. Make others aware of the lies the Prophets whisper in our ears. And soon, we will find more who will take up our cause.
Rest in peace, Sessa Rifumi, the unsung hero of Halo 2. Without him, none of the rest of this would have been possible. Most likely. But, alright, that's the last terminal in the game, at least. What does he mean by that? I wonder. Well, we'll see. Oh, first, I did just want to show this funny thing with Johnson. So, remember when he says stay clear of the door? You know,
Stay clear of the door.
what happens if you don't?
Trying to get killed? Give me some room. What? Do I have to spell it out for you? Oh! Listen, I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2. Good. Now stay put.
He actually does fire on the count of 3.
Bastard. Knock, knock.
It's a little hard to time, but if after he says stay put, if you drive back in, he goes, haha, very funny, I'm still firing anyway, and then he fires. Just a funny little scene. And I figured I would show what the Scarab beam looks like in Anniversary graphics. What the control room, what Delta Halo's control room looks like. That kind of stuff. Speaking of Delta Halo's control room, remember how I said that my deaths in that final brute shootout didn't really matter? I'm going to show you why. That's because, believe it or not, this fight, the final fight with the 2 waves brutes, which, you know, with the 2 honor guards, this fight is super duper easy to skip past. You don't have to fight it at all. Just go invisible, and you can sneak in the door just before it closes. That was on Legendary, so the enemy awareness...
The chieftain must complete his whole... Do not let them enter the chamber.
It does kind of mess up the cutscene. But on the plus side, you get better music for the final boss fight, at least. So yeah, you can totally just skip those 2 entire difficult waves. I didn't want to do that because it kind of messes with the cutscene afterwards. So it's the kind of thing you do on future playthroughs. So I haven't actually fought those last 2 waves legit in a while. But
Charging sequence initiated. Primary generators coming online.
We'll shut them down.
Apology. Protocol does not allow me to interfere with any aspect of the sequence.
this is just me showing off the beam rifle, how even a beam rifle that you're using can strip his shields, but as you probably guessed, you know, it's not really, if you're not using an infinite ammo cheat like I am right now, well, I say cheat, but it's just a skull you can enable in the game. You know, it's very ammo intensive, and you have like a split second to switch back to your weapon, and you know, you still have the normal brutes to deal with, and you don't have enough ammo to take all of them on and kill Tartarus, so it just doesn't really work out. You're better off just using the dual plasma rifles and relying on Johnson. Now, the final thing I wanted to show off, if you come to this bottom platform and you crouch, instant death. Oops. So the reason why that happens is because the kill barrier, they actually put the kill barrier too high, so crouching puts you right into it and it kills you. So I guess that's, I don't know why you would come to the bottom level and crouch, but I guess just try not to do that because it's also instant death. Now, the final thing I wanted to show off, this is terminal number 14. It's not actually in the game. It was on like some weird 343 website, but I feel like it kind of brings things full circle and it hypes up the story for Halo 3. So I hope you enjoy. I'll see you for Halo 3 ODST, my friends.
Activate the Kindler. Make haste. We have little time. It has been found, Commander. Very well. Mark the coordinates and proceed with caution. And to think, it has been under their noses all this time. Humans are foul animals. They lack the intellect and the purity to discern the ways of gods. Prepare the Luminary for retrieval. The Hierarch will reward us for our devotion.
Well done, Commander. Do you know what you found?
A Luminary Hierarch. A divine instrument.
It is more than that, Commander. This is the one spoken of in the prophecies. It lights the sacred path. Stewards, good news, I pray?
It was not easy, Blessed One. The Luminary was not forthcoming with the holy words, but our hope proved true.
The sacred rings. Halo.
And not Halo alone, High Prophet. It also told of this. The final home of the Forerunners, and the creation of the sacred rings. The Ark.
By the gods. It is glorious. The stories were true. Where did the gods hide such a treasure?
It lies far beyond the borders of our galaxy. Accessible only by way of portal. The one portal the Luminary spoke of was here. The Forerunners called it Erde Tyrene.
Our calling is clear. We must go there at once. We will take the ships in our command and go to this world immediately. This Erde Tyrene. Take heed, brothers. Your work signals the culmination of our Covenant's holy quest. Hold fast. The great journey is at hand.